Hi everybody, in today's class I'll discuss with you how to get a good band score in IELTS speaking. Now IELTS speaking, as we all know, is divided into three parts. First part is considered the easy one, and the next comes the topic card, and the topic card is followed by a few questions related to the topic card and then few abstract questions. And now when we talk about part 1 of the IELTS speaking test, it is considered to be easy and people try to overlook this part of the exam. And some of the students think that this is the easy part and we do not need to focus on this part a lot. But mind you, this is not the correct way to approach this test. This part of the test is very crucial and very important. I personally considered part 1 of the IELTS speaking test very crucial. Reason being, this is the task where you get to set the tone, where examiner wants to know something about you. He judges you on very simple and basic facts. This is the part where questions are easy. You can get comfortable with the test, you can get comfortable with the environment, and also in part 1 of the speaking test you get warmed up for your later sections and later parts of the test. It can create a big gap in your band score. Reason being, if you are not comfortable in part 1 of the test, you might not be able to adapt to the environment when the questions of part 2 and part 3 come up. In part 1 of the test, the questions that come up are very easy, and they are easy for a purpose, and they are easy because the examiner or the testing system wants to know that can you speak any English at all. And now let's have a look at how the IELTS speaking test should be approached, what should be done and what should not be done during this test, and what are the major topics that are usually repeated test after test. So let's begin. Now, what are the things that a candidate must keep in mind while attempting the IELTS speaking test? There are a few things which can immensely help a candidate to have a good band score. First of all, the candidate must have confidence in himself. If you are not confident and you sound very low, that means maybe you are not prepared for the test, or maybe just you are not comfortable with the language, and that definitely has a negative impact on the examiner. If you don't show that you are confident enough and you are willing to take the test, that will have a negative impact. Be confident. That's the trick that you can do without even learning the language. So by being confident, I mean that you must look into the eyes of the examiner. You must not look anywhere here and there. You must not look down below, and you must not look at the ceiling. You should not look at the walls. You must look into the eyes of the examiner. And another very important thing that candidate must keep in his mind is being friendly. By being friendly, I mean that you must be approachable and eager. And also remember that you must not be nervous at any point in this test, because 1 second of nervousness can spoil your whole test. It can be very dangerous if you get nervous. It can lead to a catastrophic effect on your test. Another thing that you should remember here is act excited. And if you sound excited, the next person takes interest, and it is all simultaneous. If you're not excited, if you're not willing to speak, it sounds that maybe you're not very committed towards your test. If you do not like football, don't worry. So don't think that you do not like football, it's end of the world. You can speak about a topic from a general idea as well. If the question particularly asks that do you play the sport or do you play that kind of sport, then you can give your personal opinion. Otherwise, you can give a general idea about the thing as well. Moving on. Be versatile. By being versatile, what do I mean? By being versatile, I mean that you must allow yourself to think differently. By versatility, I mean that you must be able to think about that same topic from the point of view of other people. Say, what do other people think about that topic, or how do they manage that topic, or how do they do certain things. Say, if I ask you about gardening and you have never been a gardener in your life, somebody in your family likes gardening, you can have a point of view of that person. Why does that person like gardening, and how he enjoys it, how much time does he spend. So you can add on things from other people around you and make up your stuff, because it's just about managing those 10 to 15 minutes that you have with your examiner. Nobody's going to come you and ask that, okay, do you really like gardening? That's not the topic. You have to speak about it and be spontaneous, not think too much, not pause too much. So these are things that you need to keep in your mind. By being versatile, it also means to use different words while speaking. Like you could use prefer or adore instead of saying like every time you have to say like, or you could say sweet or awesome for nice, or you could say terrible or awful for bad, or you could say enormous or gigantic for big. So this is how you can be versatile in your vocabulary. And being versatile is very important, because nobody is going to give you a good score if you keep on saying I like in your every sentence. It's not going to make any difference. The examiner is not there to worry about your likes or dislikes. They don't bother. They do not want to know. They see tens of thousands of people, there are millions of likes. They are only concerned about your language. Do not get confused in your likes and dislikes. It doesn't matter. Do not get confused with your thoughts. Try to speak good English instead of expressing your own personal opinions. You should have more vocabulary. That's more important, because sometimes you like something and you do not have your vocabulary with you, so it's a difficult task to do. Having a good vocabulary, even if you do not know the subject very well, is more important, because knowing the subject makes you win the game. If you do not know the subject and still you can speak it, that's the king. That's the only king that prevails in IELTS. It's not about the topic, it's not about the subject. What you know, you must speak, but what you do not know, you should be able to speak that as well. If you're not able to speak what you do not know, IELTS can be tricky for you, and especially for those who are shy. No shyness in IELTS. People are there to judge you. They are not there to sit for you and wait for you to speak. No, my dear. What happens while learning English? While learning English, people are pushed and they are supported by the teachers, by the guides, and by their mentors. But in the real game, in your test hall, while speaking, the examiner is not there to help, and the examiner is not interested in knowing journal things or things of IQ from your side. Sometimes people try to express their general knowledge in this test. It doesn't matter. What simply matters in IELTS is that can you speak in English or not. Thank you and goodbye. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. If you did, please check in once again, subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to give it